that, right?
Yeah, steel.
I'm gonna bring it back.
It's pretty light though.
Okay, I'll bring it back.
Better.
Hey, Mr. Turner, how are you? Welcome.
Into the future.
Everyone, thank you for joining. We'll be getting started shortly.
Into the future. Fly like an eagle to the sea. Fly like an eagle. Make the spirit carry me. I wanna fly. Fly right into the future. I wanna feed the babies. Who can't get enough to eat. Wanna shoot the children. No shoes on their feet. I wanna house people.
Welcome, Robert and
Hi,
Anisha. Hi, how are you? Thanks
doing
for
well.
joining us today, guys. And you guys, as we're getting started, please feel free to put your name and your company name in the chat as well. Do a little promotion of yourself while you're in there. Good to see who's here and what businesses are represented. All right, we're going to go another minute or so. We'll get started. All right. Well, welcome everybody, and thank you all for joining PCR SBDC today as we talk about the future of restaurants, lessons from 2020. You guys, we thought that "Fly Like an Eagle" was an appropriate song because we are flying into the future fast, but we want to fly like eagles, and we are excited today with the panel and the specialists and special advisors that we have today to be able to share with you some ways to help you to fly with your business. And so we're excited to move forward with that. If you all would please keep yourselves on mute, if you are not already in that position, we would appreciate it. Welcome to put your questions into the chat. We appreciate seeing your faces as well. So we thank you guys for those that are showing yourselves so we can make sure we're not just talking to, an empty space. So we appreciate you guys doing that. And so today we're excited because we are celebrating restaurants, but all small businesses. And today is part of Black History Month as well. And so we actually have two Black restaurateurs that are amazing at what they do. And so it's a wonderful day for us to be able to celebrate businesses in general, small businesses in particularly, and to help you all fly into the future. So joining today, I'm Colette Moore. I'm the director of PCR SBDC. I'm also a past small business owner. After having worked at Disney for about 16 years, I had a staffing company and I was a client of PCR and its SBDC. I'm happy to be here with some amazing, smart folks that are ready to share with you. And I'd like for our special restaurant advisors, Asia Beard and Celeste Young Ramos, to do a brief introduction of themselves.
Thank you, Colette. Hello, everybody. Welcome. It's so great to see all of you. My name is Asia Beard. I'm familiar with a lot of your faces. I've been with PCR a little over almost 2 years now, but I have been in hospitality about 26 years, the last 18 years opening restaurants. Graduate of UNLV's hospitality program, so worked in Las Vegas for about 14 years until I came back here to LA. But I've helped open up Sensi at Bellagio. I've been a hotel manager for the Rio, helped open up Hot-Filled Chicken with Greg and Kim Prince, and then also Boca at the Conga Room. So just excited to share and to look forward to speaking to all of you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Celeste. I am the other restaurant and HR advisor. And I've been in the restaurant industry my entire life. My parents owned restaurants while I was growing up. I have owned my own successful restaurant, and I've worked with the Denny's chain for many years, all the way from a hostess to being an international franchise business consultant for their brand. And I have been private consulting and working with restaurants for about 4 years. I've opened big chains, small independent restaurants, food trucks, cottage industry. So between Asia and myself, I know we'll be able to take care of all your needs. Thanks for coming. Colette, we can't hear you.
I know we need that sign. Can't hear you. Thank you. So for those that are new to the SBDC, we again welcome you. We are part of 1,000 centers around the country here to help small businesses with economic growth. We are a partner with the Small Business Administration, the SBA, and also with the state of California and the GoBiz program, and from other benefactors that support our program as well. So we provide consulting, training, and resources for small businesses throughout LA County. All of this is free of charge to our clients. So we are super excited to have you guys on today. When you are coming and working with us with our one-on-one advising or our workshops, and we have a whole list of workshops we will review going forward, but we can cover everything from licenses and permits, hiring, loans, funding, government contracting, marketing, accounting. And one of the key things that we have been covering right now in person or one-on-ones, not in person, we're still working online, is funding. So for those of you that need help with funding, disaster funding, we are here to help you. We've got all of our advisors are actually working on disaster funding. And so if you need your PPP2, make sure to join us on Wednesday and get your training to get your PPP2. And there is a special thing happening for small businesses. All businesses under 20 employees those are the only businesses able to put their applications in to the SBA starting on the 24th. So there's definitely an opportunity for small businesses. So let us assist you in that process. And then we just have a whole host from business plans, from leasing, capital, financial management, and government contracting. So as we start today talking about restaurants, wanted to share just some data. Some of you restaurateurs on the call may already know about some of these facts and figures. So we all understand that the pandemic has really been very, very tough on restaurants. And I'm just amazed at the level that restaurants have been able to pivot to be able to continue to stay in business. But we all know that the industry sales are down. And so that is certainly a problem for our restaurant business. And it dropped like 240 billion in sales, and nearly 2.5 million employees are still, remaining out of work. And so it's a significant issue with the number of closures. At 17% of all of the restaurants closed during the pandemic. And that's particularly difficult for independent concepts versus the chains, even though we've seen chains struggle as well. But there's good news here. The Restaurant Association, National Restaurant Association, is expecting revenue to rise 11% in 2021 to 735 billion. It's still below the 2019 peak, but we are expecting to see some resiliency, the continued resiliencies of restaurant entrepreneurs throughout the country to be able to move restaurants and food services forward. This was another great trend, is that there does seem to be pent-up demand for restaurant services. So 83% of consumers stated that they were not eating on premise as often as they would like to. That was in April. So now a year from now, I know people like me can't wait to really get out and be in more and more restaurants as our country opens back up and the pandemic comes under control. So you can see that this has a lot of great promise, I think, for restaurant sector and industry in terms of the number of people that are interested to go back. And then one of the other things is that we're seeing is that off premises, as you guys know, became a predominant source this year as well. 80% of full service restaurants were shut down. And so another great thing is that even on the takeout side, that consumers are not purchasing takeout and delivery even as often as they would like. And so there's also some other penetration numbers that is expecting the penetration of like online ordering to go up from like, it's currently 13% of the industry to be at about 21% by 2025. So that's a huge growth opportunity for takeout. The trend of people being able to order in and get their food in a variety of ways in their homes is still going to be very, very important. And then one of the other new trends is that they're seeing a lot of virtual eateries. So as it surged, there are these ghost kitchens where people are, making food. You don't really know where they are. They're in like an industrial kitchen working together to get food services out to consumers. Now, the one thing that we do know about restaurants is that there is going to be a need for heightened safety and sanitation practices. And then because there are several that will not financially are in more difficult situations, people will still be looking for value-based promotions. So that might be packaging in a certain way, special value menu that will be important for some segment of the population as the pandemic eases. And you can see here, disinfecting all services between customer use is like really high for both quick serve and casual restaurants. And so sanitation is going to be very important as we go forward. And that's about gaining trust. So those are just some of the facts regarding restaurant. And like we said, we are flying like an eagle. And so we know that the clients that have worked with us and our Restaurant Academy are continuing to get good information, and we'll continue to share that as a group as we go forward. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Celeste to talk about the Restaurant Academy and its offerings.
Well, we're very excited that this past year we were able to open up the Restaurant Academy, and we're here to help you. And our mission is to provide food businesses like yourself with the guidance and information you need to stay open and stay in business successfully. So wherever you are in your phase of business, whether you're still making your business plan or you've been in business for 30 years, we can meet you right where you're at and help take care and grow your restaurants and keep them open. So some things that we do regularly with our clients is talk about properly starting a food service business per Los Angeles County Health Department and requirements. So whether you're a restaurant, food truck, street vendor, cottage industry, anything that you want to do with the food producing to distribute in stores between Asia and I will be able to help you out with that. We also help people with cost controls, improving margins and being profitable. Adhere to California HR resources and labor law requirements. So if you haven't looked at those types of things in the last few years, we have a really great course to get you up to date on that. We also want to help you to be able to effectively manage your restaurant with some leadership skills. And we also provide a great network for best practices with other food service operators. And we're all thankful you're here today, and we hope that you'll continue coming to our quarterly meetings and be able to network with your peers.
And one thing I forgot, Celeste, is that we do have prizes at the end, and some of them are based on the information that's shared. Oops, I forgot to share that with you, so I may have to give one away when we get to the end. So you guys, yes, so there are some, pay attention. There are some prizes at the end that will benefit you either individually or for your business. And so I forgot to mention that. Thanks, Celeste.
So the three ways that the Restaurant Academy is able to benefit you is one, with our one-on-one advising. So from startup business planning, strategies to grow and expand, and everything in between. And I love our center because I have to say the other advisors we have in finance, accounting, marketing, all of them are top notch. So Asia and I can be the experts in restaurants, and you get still the same quality experience with the other advisors as well. We're adding some in every quarter. And at the end of the workshop, we'll be asking you about what kind of workshops you see today, in the future. And we also host special events like our quarterly panels with other food service entrepreneurs, providing network opportunities and best practices. So if you'd like to be one of our panelists in the future, please let us know. We have some great ones for today. So here are the 8 to 10 classes that we have right now. We have these on a monthly or every other month basis. So this year we added some new ones: restaurant business planning, that'll take you through starting up a business plan for your restaurant. We have permitting and licensing for restaurants, so that'll take you through all the state, local, and health department licensing procedures. So we'll teach you the LA Health Department inspections, and also how to put social distancing in your restaurant to meet the requirements for the protocols. Asia does a really great workshop on knowing your now.
Celeste, you have just gone out for us. And
I do a really super one on human resources, restaurants, where we take you through all the hiring, labor laws, package items that are required by the. We have truck trailer guidelines.
So Celeste is on mute for a second because Celeste, you were going in and out and your internet was unstable there. So.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so here we go. I'm not sure where it cut out.
All right.
We do have workshops, is how to be a fearless restaurant leader. So this one is going to be on March the 1st from 2 to 4. What it's designed for is to get your employees to buy into your vision, to follow your direction, be more cooperative. If you really haven't had formal restaurant leadership training, or if you just want to get better results, we'll teach you how to lead with a style that builds respect. And it's really great workshop for people that have moving into the supervisor position. So that's a really great one, and we hope that you'll attend that one.
All right. And so I do see some questions in the chat. Lisa, the advisors may take a look at that and be able to answer that a little bit later regarding some of the guidelines. All right. All right. So we do have a poll, and maybe some of you all heard this since I forgot to ask, but the poll is about to be launched right now by China Spikes, our associate director. And so this is it. What is the predicted rise in restaurant sales from 2020 to 2021? All right. I can see you guys coming in with that number. Great. And some of you guys were definitely listening there. And this was a poll versus a prize, so I appreciate you all taking a moment. All right, and the poll will end. And the correct answer was 11%. So, you know, it won't stay flat. It's not as high in full recovery as I think all of us would hope, but 11% was the number that the Restaurant Association is using. And so we do hope that we are able to get those numbers at least at the 11%. All right, so back to you, Celeste. Thank you guys for participating.
Okay. So I did see a question that was asking, how do you enroll in the workshops? Well, all of them are free, and you just need to go to our website, pcrsbdc.org/workshops. We'll also put that in the chat for you. And all the classes for the next month and a half are all listed there for you to take. So another class that we're going to be adding on, not just for restaurants, but any business, is what should employers do if your employees test positive for COVID? I think that's been a question that's been coming up more frequently now. And so on Tuesday, March 2nd, from 3 to 4:30, I'll be presenting a whole class on what we should do. So we'll talk about the best practices for prevention, how to notify your staff. We'll talk about intervention with the health department, testing versus having your business closed for 14 days, what you have to do for workers' compensation reporting, how to properly disinfect, and how to do paid sick leave. So I have a couple questions. I wanted to see what you guys thought on these. So according to the Los Angeles Health Department regulations, you should report to them when you have had how many employees or reports of COVID-19 in a 2-week period. What do you guys think?
So put your number in the chat. How many days?
Put
You
your
just
number
want
in
to
the
see,
chat.
get a sense for,
I
okay.
see a
Thanks.
2,
Thanks, Kevin.
1,
2, 1.
3,
Great. Okay.
5. I see one right answer so far.
Shh.
Uh-oh, sorry.
All right. 2, okay. And the
Okay.
answer is,
So the
right.
answer is 3. So if you've had 3 employee or guest reports of COVID-19, you're supposed to notify the health department. All right, let's look at the next question. So what is the recommended time to wait before disinfecting exposed areas? So your employee has reported it to you and you've confirmed it. How long should you wait before you start cleaning your restaurant?
Thank you for putting those in the chat. Immediate, 2 minutes, no time at all, 24,
Yep.
immediately. Okay.
Okay, drum roll. And the answer is 24 hours. They say you should actually wait for that length of time because that way it'll allow the pathogen to die down a bit and put it in a more safe realm for you. So they recommend 24 hours. So these are just a couple of things we're going to be talking about in the workshop, and we hope you'll all attend that. Once again, that's March 2nd from 3 to 4:30. Okay, well, I'm going to turn it back over now to Colette.
All right, so we have really we're always excited when new restaurants, all of our new businesses are important to us. And we know that many of you are actually starting new things during COVID. And so we have had some restaurants that have opened in the midst of all of the reopenings and closing that have opened for start. And we just want to recognize those from Sela to Crudo Nudo, Prescriptive Salads, Chubby Fingers, the Tellurians Cafe. Okay, tell me what that one is.
That one's Papa Sal's Curtidos, and then we got the Femme Bake Shop and Sad Girl Creamery.
Yes. So we want to say congratulations to those restaurants that are starting in the midst of very difficult circumstances, and we wish them the best for their sustainability. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Asia to get us started with our panel.
All right. Well, thank you very much. I'm really, truly excited to introduce these next 3 panelists. Some of them you may know very well, and I think that that's been a great reason why we've had such a large interest in this particular event. So first and foremost, let's start with Jeanette Bolden. So Jeanette, along with her husband Al and sister Denise, they are the proud owners of 27th Street Bakery. This historic bakery has been serving the community since 1956, and they are famous for their sweet potato pies and pecan pies. Jeanette's grandparents, Harry and Sadie Patterson, started the business on the corner of 27th and Central. So Central Avenue was a hub for African Americans that were coming from the South over to California in the 40s and 50s. So it started off as a restaurant, actually turned into a pie shop, which was named after her grandmother, Mrs. Harry's Pie Shop. And in 1980, Jeanette's mother and brother took over the business, which was a huge blessing. And that's one of the themes of this particular event is legacy restaurants. Both Jeanette and Greg have legacy restaurants passed down through their family. But their grandparents stayed, they mentored them. They changed the name to 27th Street Bakery, and that bakery has just been a mainstay in the community and serving multiple locations. In the late 80s, they actually received large grocery counts. So some of you may recognize her pies, the mini pies and the larger pies, either at Albertsons, Ralph's, Smart and Final, and even at other mom and pop shops. They're actually serving over 100 different mom and pop eateries throughout Los Angeles, Pasadena, Carson, Long Beach, Compton, and Santa Clarita. So that bakery, I mean, they're just a huge beacon in the community. You'll always find somebody with one of their pies during the holidays. So we're just really excited for them. Jeanette is originally from Compton. She's a graduate from UCLA. She's got a degree in sociology, and she actually won an Olympic gold medal in 1984 right here in Los Angeles. She has been a coach, and during her 25-year coaching tenure, she won 3 NCAA titles and was named the 2008 Olympic track and field coach. She's a Hall of Famer. She's been coaching both at UCLA and University of Central Florida. In 2020, you may have seen a video that came out that was done at the bakery. She received a $10,000 grant from PayPal, and so they featured her in this video on their website. She's had multiple, news articles, postings, TV shout outs, dedicated to her and her bakery. So again, just really excited to introduce her. That's Miss Jeanette Bolden. That's our first panelist. The second panelist, Greg. Greg Dulin is the owner of Dulin's and Crenshaw. They've been in Los Angeles, again, 2 generations. He is a LA native. He's a prime example of a business owner that's turned his passion into profit. He operates 3 successful family-owned businesses and food restaurants in LA and Inglewood. He followed in his father's footsteps, Adolf Dulin, which many of you probably will remember. And he is considered the king of soul food. Adolf Dulin was considered the king of soul food. He actually oversaw the critically acclaimed Aunt Kizzy's Back Porch in Marina del Rey. If you also remember, Greg is a huge caterer. He's done several large events in Los Angeles. Can you still hear me okay? I'm getting a note here. Can everybody still hear me okay? Okay. So he was raised in View Park. He attended Westchester High School. He graduated with a BA in business from Howard University. And he also completed UCLA's executive program in business management, as well as the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses program. And so when Greg sent me a list of his achievements and awards, I was very honest that I can't read all of this. There's too many to mention, but we did put it out in the flyer and the newsletter that we sent out. What's really exciting is he recently opened up a venture called Hotville Chicken. Some of you may remember, with Kim Prince. She was on our last quarterly panel, and they have a food truck that will be coming out very, very soon. Here's a sneak preview of that. So make sure you look out for Dulinville, which will be a combined effort of both Dulin Soul Food and Hotville Chicken on one truck. You can request them to come out and do catering for you, or they will be lining up certain days that they will be out and about in the community. And then last but not least, I also wanted to introduce Kelsey Wesdy. She is our Cisco representative. She's a first generation Filipino and Salvadorian American. She's been working for Cisco for the past 4 years. Born and raised in Los Angeles, she is an Angelino through and through. She graduated from Cal Poly Pomona's University with a degree in marketing and a minor in hospitality. And so she wanted to continue her love of marketing and food by choosing a career with Cisco. And she continues to serve her community by sharing that knowledge that she's accumulated. She also wants to introduce our small businesses to some of the new programs that Cisco is going to be providing, which is called Restaurant Rising. I'm going to give Kelsey just a moment to introduce that. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you. So Restaurant Rising is one of our biggest pushes towards small businesses. I know a lot of small businesses are very hesitant with Cisco because a lot of see us as we're too big, we're too much. But in all reality, we are really here to help people individually. And with Restaurant Rising, It was just more of helping the community in whether it's free marketing or discounts on solutions. We even switched out to no minimum deliveries on your delivery day. We did easier payments for a lot of business owners that we can do credit card payments. And a lot of the discounts that we also provide with some of our businesses are like Uber Eats or Giftify, that really just help you in more an individual base as well as promote your business. There's a website, Restaurant Rising, if you guys would like to know more. Also, if anyone is interested in our catalog, we also switched over to a more community-based outlook. So you can type in www.shop.sysco.com. You can type in your zip code of where your location is, and from there you can see all the products. If you want to know more detail or information, my contact information, email, and work cell phone is on there. Feel free to email me, call me, text me, just let me know your name and where you're coming from. So I would be able to better assist you.
All right, thank you, Kelsey. All right, so I know you are all anxious to hear from the panelists, and we actually have some questions that we wanted to ask them, and then we'll leave it open after they've answered our questions for you to drop in a few questions through the chat as well. But just to get things started off, our first question, because we get a lot of new restaurateurs coming to the SBA or SBDC, we want to know, Jeanette and Greg, if you could tell your future self something, let's say you were new to the industry, there might have been a couple of learning curves that you had to learn throughout the, your time working as a restaurant owner. Give us 2 tips that you could tell your future self what you could do to help you do something differently, maybe to avoid a pitfall or just something you weren't aware of. I'll let Jeanette go first.
I think for me, the 2 things are, number 1, I'm a big procrastinator and I avoid problems. So in my early years, just if I didn't have any money, I just wouldn't, take care of a certain thing, a certain bill. And I regretted that later, especially important dates like, when your business license is due and your health license. And then if you don't take care of those things on a timely basis, you'll get penalized. So I would definitely make sure that I take care of the important things and not procrastinate, even if it's difficult. Definitely make sure that you don't procrastinate and put those important dates down in a calendar so you won't miss those. And the other thing would be trust. You have to be able to trust more people and have more people in your circle, because you can't wear 7 different hats and still maintain your business. So you have to be able to delegate. And that's a difficult thing to do. And as a business owner, you want to protect your baby, you want to protect your recipe and the things that you do. And you're just scared to let everybody know what's going on, but you have to be able to delegate and trust people, because that's how you'll be able to get over, because you cannot wear 10 different hats and still maintain your business.
Got it. That's perfect. So we've got don't procrastinate and develop some trust. Okay, Greg, how about yourself? What are your 2 tips? I don't know if he's on mute.
You're on mute, Greg.
Greg, you are currently on mute. Sorry, we wanted to hear all of that.
You guys missed my thank you. Thank you.
Aw.
You can say it again. Say it again.
Thank you for allowing me to participate on the panel. I really appreciate it.
We're so happy to have you. Thank you.
One of the things that I would have done differently is I would have made sure in the beginning that I focused on defining my mission statement and then zero in on my business operations. I did not do that. When I started, I just started because my family had been in business, and I just figured I would do what they did. And I could have done a better job. That was a mistake in hindsight, because the mission statement tells you the why. It tells you why you're doing what you're doing. And then the business operations tells you how you're going to do what your mission statement tells you that you want to do. And so the business operations is the way you obtain and keep customers. And I didn't focus on that in the front. I just started working. But business operations is the key fundamental to business success over the long term. The other thing or learning curve that I would mention is I would have focused more on employee training and development. Some of the biggest issues I've had and biggest challenges I've had have been related to employee issues. And then I would circle that around and fold that into doing more and better strategic planning. And I've learned how to do that over the years, but I didn't do it in the beginning. And if I were to start over again, I would focus on my vision and the mission statement, laying out my business operations, and then putting together a good strategic plan, which is what I'm working on as we speak.
That's great. That's great. And if anybody's taken some of our classes with the Restaurant Academy, we touch on some of those points. Your employees can be your biggest asset and your greatest liability. So you want to make sure you take care of them with the training, and then also developing that trust. So I want to pivot over to Kelsey and ask this next question. So how have large distribution centers like Sysco, how have they been pivoting to support small businesses and the trends that are happening right now? You've mentioned Restaurant Rising, but are there some other things that you've seen happening in your industry?
So the biggest one is Restaurant Rising. That was the biggest push that we are still pushing now. It's free services towards any small business owner who's just willing to get their name out there or need a little push or help, because we understand that during these times, it's pretty interesting. You don't know, some restaurants don't know if they want to close or they want to open again. They're hesitant about protocols and cleaning and all of that stuff. So we even brought in more cleaning supplies. We brought in more help on the street. We have corporate chefs who kind of train the back of the house to help line up all the products, to make sure no waste is going out, because now there's a lot more waste. You have to really take into consideration a lot of things. As everyone knows, with Texas, with all of their weather, and we have beautiful weather in sunny California, we don't really take into that consideration of products or movements that can affect our business. So we're just really here to just figure out what to help you in. We had a lot of push on online ordering as well, and just a lot of online presence to help all the small businesses too. But the biggest push again is the Restaurant Rising. And if you do want to know any more information or would like to see what exactly it entails, the website is right there. And it's just so much information to present. I just don't want to overwhelm as much as I can.
And that's fine. And that might be something we'll do later on in another workshop. But we definitely appreciate Restaurant Rising. I know a lot of our small business owners, we've been pushing them kind of towards Sysco's way, because there's so many additional amenities that come with having that partnership. Okay, so, and Marcus, I do see your question. I'm going to ask a couple more of our questions, and I will come back to yours because that's a great one. What we noticed when we selected Greg and Jeanette is they're both legacy restaurants, because they've been passed down through generations. So we want to know, what is the secret sauce to having a legacy restaurant? And Jeanette, we'll let you go.
Secret sauce.
Mm-hmm.
To me, there's two elements there. One is consistency of product. People like knowing a place where they can go and they feel familiar with the food. And they feel comfort in that. Every time you go to a certain place, the food is relatively going to be the same all the time. And it makes you feel good. It makes you feel comfortable that that product is going to be the same today, tomorrow, and years to come. And I learned that from my grandparents. You know, don't skimp on supplies and the things that you need, and be consistent in the product that you produce. You know, naturally things change. You know, some of the supplies that you need are not available, and different vendors, but overall, people keep coming back because they are being familiar in the consistency of your product. And the other thing, to me, the secret sauce is customer service. You can't get around customer service. Not only do we practice a lot of customer service at the bakery when you come there, but also my drivers, when they go out to different restaurants, and they go out to different mom and pops, and even to the grocery stores, you know, they know to be courteous and kind. And if there's a problem, they'll relate that to one of the owners. But you cannot substitute customer service because they don't have to buy your product. So to me, the secret sauce is number one, being familiar and consistency with your product, and customer service.
Perfect. Thank you. How about you, Greg? You can share your secret sauce with us?
Well, I can agree with everything Jeanette just said. And, you know, the generation before you developed a customer base that hopefully has become generational. And so your first job is not to mess it up, not to lose the customers that your parents or your grandparents started by doing, making mistakes like changing the recipes or pulling back on portions or things like that. And so you want to make sure that, you know, you keep things as consistent as possible. And, you know, there's going to be some changes as things go down. It's not going to be exactly the same, but you want to try to stay as close to the original recipes and portions and things like that, and service that got you where where you are. Another key component is, you know, I have 4 siblings. There are 5 of us. And I've been in the business for 36 years. I have a younger brother that just joined the business 3 years ago. And I got 3 siblings who wouldn't come near the business if you paid them. They can't stand it. They don't like the restaurant business. So you have to have somebody in the family who loves the business. I happen to be that person in the family who actually loves what I do. I do it every day. I'm excited to go to work every day. And I think that's a key component for business success is you got to find that person in the family who's going to carry on the legacy and hopefully enjoy doing it at the same time. And then lastly, something that my father was really good at was he was really good at connecting with the community. He was always out in the community. You know, he had a reputation for speaking to everybody. You know, I'm sure there are people on this panel who knew my father because maybe he actually visited your businesses or encouraged you or did something like that. And so the community connection aspect cannot be understated. I think that you'll see that, you know, we've tried to carry on that tradition in a lot of the things that we do, and we try to support. And that's very, very important to love your business, but to love and to support the community as well. And I think when you put all those things together, that helps to keep a generational business going forward.
And I know one thing that you did do was establish the Adolf Doolin Scholarship Fund, and you recently gave a $10,000 scholarship to, I believe it was a student at Crenshaw Community or Crenshaw.
Dorsey High School.
Dorsey. Mm-hmm.
And then we've done a few things like that. So, you know, it's important when you're in the restaurant. See, the restaurant business is one of those businesses that represents the first opportunities and second chances for individuals. Often the local restaurant is where that young kid gets his first job, you know, out of high school or whatever. But it's also that place where somebody who who maybe made a mistake in life and is looking to restart comes to look for a job, when they're trying to start over and they need a second chance in life. And so often you'll look at restaurant employees, and often it makes up those types of individuals, people who are just starting off in life, getting their first job. And often, especially in our case, working in South Central, we have a lot of employees who are just looking for a second chance in life and who are trying to reestablish themselves.
That's great. That's great. Kelsey, I know that you've worked with tons of different restaurants at Cisco. Have you seen any other kind of tips from the legacy restaurants that
I
you've
would
worked with
say,
on a personal level? Because I know sometimes
I
it's
would,
different perspective.
yeah. I would say it's, I love when it's passed down, or restaurants or like ideas are passed down. But I would piggyback off of Jeanette of how trusting your community and trusting your employees and the people around you really impact you and your business. And as an owner, I do see it as well. Like, it's hard to let go because you love it so much. So you want to make sure everything's perfect, everything's good to go. But knowing where your time is spent and your valuable time on how to increase your business is very, very important, just as important as trusting the people around you to help you succeed.
Great. Great. Okay. Now, how are you staying relevant? I'm gonna do Greg first on this question. How are you staying relevant with these tech-savvy demographics that are coming up, especially as a legacy restaurant where, things were very different 10, 20, 30 years ago? What are you doing? How have you improved your technology as a restaurant to stay on top of things?
Well, we're doing a couple of things. The first thing we're doing is you highlighted the food truck that we just launched. Actually, we're doing our first paid event tomorrow at the 77th Division of the LAPD. And I never thought I would do that. COVID was sort of a motivating factor, but we have given ourselves a mobile capability so that we can go where the customers are. And the food truck is actually a 2-truck system. There's another truck that's coming online next week, which will give us a full kitchen setup. And we will be able to set up what I call a mobile restaurant, mobile kitchen, or a mobile ghost kitchen, where we'll be able to go to a different neighborhood or location or region and use technology, working with third-party delivery companies, and set up a mobile kitchen where we can serve people Southern home cooking or Nashville hot chicken. And we've done something that I see restaurants may have to do in the future, but we are collaborating with another concept, and we brought together Doolin Soul Food and Hotville Chicken and created a collaboration, and we call it Classic Soul Food and Nashville Hot Chicken in one amazing truck. But we're doing those collaborations, in other areas, and I see that being one way that small independent restaurants can survive in terms of coming together and maybe sharing space, or sharing administrative, or doing different types of things. I think those are going to be trends for the future. The other thing that we're doing is we're getting ready to do a major remodel at our location on Crenshaw, and we're going to double the size of our kitchen. And we are building what I call a technology portion of our kitchen, which will be designed to focus specifically on third-party delivery company orders. And we're going to have a window that's on the outside of the restaurant where our third-party delivery drivers can just come up, grab their food, and go without having to come in the restaurant. And so we've really given that a lot of thought, and we're calling this our kitchen in a kitchen concept, because not only will this kitchen focus on our third-party delivery customers, but it will also be used to prepare and prep food for our food truck. And we will also use it as a ghost kitchen and a guest kitchen, in that we will bring in chefs that do completely different cuisine from what we normally do at the restaurant to come in and do Mexican or Thai or Italian, and we'll be able to bring those different concepts to the community, all coming out of the same building, all coming out of the same kitchen, but utilizing technology to be able to approach and to attract these different customer bases with this concept. So hopefully this will work. I don't know if it will, but we're going to give it a shot.
Okay, you got to be innovative, especially now. Okay. How about you, Jeanette? What are you doing to keep up with these tech-savvy demographics?
Well, I think the main thing that's coming down the pipeline for us is we get calls a lot from individuals wanting to know where to purchase our pies at. And we're working on a situation where we'll be able to map out every single mom and pop eatery in all the restaurants, the Ralph's, Albertsons, Smart and Final, and 7-Eleven that take our product. So instead of calling down to the bakery, you'll be able to look at the map where you live at and say, oh, I can go over here and get a pie. I can go over here and get a pie. And that's huge for us. We still welcome everybody to come to the bakery, but if you live in Compton, you want to know exactly where you can pick up one of the pies. And that's a big, big trend for us right now. We also, of course, we do Facebook, and I'm not very tech savvy. So I hired someone, a young man who that's all he does is stay on the internet. So he takes care of our Twitter page and our Instagram, and my husband and my sister take care of our Facebook. And so those are the 3 areas that we're doing, but mapping out exactly where you can pick up one of our products is going to be huge for us coming up.
I love it. You're gonna have a pie tracker. So, but you said something really important, and I want everybody to hear is that just because you're not as tech savvy as you'd like to be, doesn't mean you're cut out of that space. You can outsource it, you hire somebody, you bring it in, but you want to stay relevant and you want to not lose that business. Greg, you're going to add something?
No, I hired someone as well. Yeah, and the young men that I hired are very tech savvy, because I'm not, and and so that's made a big difference.
Kelsey, how about you from the Cisco perspective? There's a lot of restaurants now, even a couple that I've opened recently, that, they're pivoting cashless. They're not even interested in going back to the old way of taking cash and staying with credit cards. But what have you seen from the Cisco side?
Oh, I've seen just an increase in online presence, just whether it's Instagram or loyalty programs like, hey, come visit, we're back open. With all of that, like within their Instagram or Facebook or Twitter, I've seen a lot of more presence on Twitter just because the demographics and the age we're going into is more into pictures and what they want to see, and also Yelp reviews. And I know their Yelp reviews can be iffy, but that's like another biggest way of finding something or finding a new restaurant in the area. I always use Yelp to see what's going on, or what's new in my area. A lot of restaurants even pivoted towards Postmates, Uber Eats, all of those third-party vendors, just because it does create those that presence. There's a lot of people more at home, so you're probably getting more people within your community searching up what's in the area, what's going on. I've also seen a lot of restaurants trim down their menu as well, just to see, okay, what's more profitable? What items can we cross-utilize, like your chicken breast? What can I use it for? What can it be? A salad? Can it be a sandwich? Can it be multiple things? Those are the biggest things that I've seen so far. And now that things are opening back up slowly, I've seen a lot of ghost kitchens as well that are I just want to do to go. They don't really want to do that traditional sit down because there's a lot of things and that can happen, especially with COVID, people are a little bit hesitant about going out. But those are the biggest ones that I've seen so far.
Okay, good, good. I've got one more question from us, guys, and I'll jump into your questions.
I wanted
Uh,
to add
Sure.
something.
Mhm.
Just to reiterate what we were talking about, and I think Greg said the same thing. You know, it might be a little hard to find somebody that a youngster that's tech savvy. It's not hard, I guess what I'm saying, but somebody in your family might want to do it. It might be, one of your kids or your cousins, somebody in your family, trust me. They're on the internet anyway.
Right.
And just, paying them to take care of your needs in terms of Twitter and Instagram, trust me, they would jump at the opportunity. They may not want to actually dive into the bakery, let's just say, but if I ask them to put a Twitter feed out there or something like that, they'll jump at it. So you just have to ask around, because there's a lot of young people that will jump at the opportunity to do that. And like I said earlier, Facebook helped us a lot. My husband spent years of really cultivating the Facebook community. So that has helped a lot, but you really have to go out there, and it's not that hard, but you can find somebody to help you with that.
Agreed. Agreed. Okay, so what role has PCR played in helping to develop your business? I'll give that one to Greg first.
PCR is a tremendous community resource. PCR provides education. PCR provides counsel, support, and more importantly, PCR is a key provider to capital, access to capital for small businesses like mine. I have been associated with PCR for 30 years, and I believe I got one of my first business loans through PCR. PCR recently helped my new restaurant, Hotville Chicken, with our PPP submission. PCR helped to finance my food trucks, because I have 2 food trucks. PCR has just been an invaluable resource for me and the growth of my business. It's definitely a community asset that I really and truly appreciate.
Thank you. Jeanette, how about you?
Well, I'm new to PCR. I was referred to PCR by a friend of mine, and it has just been life-changing for me. The first thing was actually, knowing my price point. And that is what, Asia, that's what you helped me out a lot with, just actually knowing my price point. And then talking with Celeste about, the HR component. That was huge for me. And then moving into talking to Jack, and just in terms of being certified as a minority business, there's a lot of things I just didn't know, and the steps that he took me through. And then talking to the lawyer, Howard, I mean, that just helping me to make sure that all my records were adequate. I was keeping the right books in terms of my minutes with my corporation and my board meetings, just helping me along that path. And those are just 4 key areas that PCR has helped me with. And sometimes just listening to me ramble on the phone just to try to help me get my ideas out of my head. And then you cannot put a value on that. So I thank you guys so very, very much. And like I said, I'm different than Greg. I'm new to PCR, but I have a family for life, and I thank you guys for that.
Oh, you're welcome. Kelsey, anything to add?
Oh yeah. My biggest thing from learning with you, Asia, is that a lot of small businesses are hesitant with Cisco. A lot of people take Cisco as just being this big giant corporation, but it does bottle down to the individual. I had the pleasure of working with a couple of Asia's clients, and now we're fixing a convenience store for him, and we have Pepsi going in there and like installing fridges, and having all these programs for him, and just understanding more why small businesses are hesitant gives me more insight to see, like, we have a lot more to offer than just canned potatoes and other stuff. But yeah.
Well, thank you. Thank you. So I want to jump into some of the questions. I'm going to rewind back to Marcus. He asked, how did you all receive funding when you first started? I know Greg touched on this, but there's an additional question to this. What's the important things investors look for, or rather banks or private investors? So again, how did you receive funding, and what are important things investors are looking for when you're first starting out?
Is that for us?
Yes, that's for Greg and Jeanette.
You're up, Greg.
When I first, I can speak to investors based on my Hotville chicken experience. Because when we started off Doolin's nearly 40 years ago, you couldn't get, the investors weren't an option, and in those days you couldn't get bank loans. And so, when my father started, he literally drew down his pension to start the businesses, and that continued for quite some time. But with Hotville Chicken, what I'm finding is if you have the right concept, and the concept is hot, and there's no pun intended, there's growth potential, and if you can build it to 5 locations on your own, and that is what investors are looking for. And I'm expressing this based on the conversation that we had with an investor out of New York, a very large investor out of New York who contacted us and who told us that that's what they usually look for. So they want to see you operating, 3 to 5 locations, and you have a great concept. And if you meet those thresholds, you might receive an offer for millions of dollars to grow your concept. That's what we experienced. So financing has been easier in the past few years than it was long ago when we started. And so, if you have your books in order, and your things in order, and all your paperwork in order, and you're able to show the type of income ratios that the banks want to see, that makes you a better candidate for receiving a loan or financing from a bank, which is different from an investor. And so, it's still tricky, but it can be done. It can be done.
I think for me, sorry about that, to piggyback on what Greg said, is that you have to have all your paperwork in order. And once I really realized that all my paperwork had to be in order, everything, that it became a little easier for me to be quote unquote bank ready. I haven't gotten to the stage for investors yet, but I am at the stage where the bakery looks very nice on paper. We were definitely able to receive a PPP and other grants and loans. And just to make sure that, the simple things that you take for granted, you have to make sure that you take care of those things. If a loan officer wants some documents scanned over to you and to them, and all of a sudden you don't have a scanner, you have to go get a scanner. That's very elementary, but at the same time, a lot of people just don't have those functioning equipment right there handy to make sure that you have everything for a bank. So for me, I've learned over the last couple of years to make sure that we are bank ready just by having all our documents and all our ducks in a row.
That's a good term, bank ready, and that's so critical. I think a lot of people don't realize it's not just good enough to have a line coming out the door. You need to make sense on paper as well. Okay, from Ryan, what's your recommendation if you're taking over an existing restaurant space with a new concept regarding consistency of product for the community and familiarity? So recommendations if you're taking over an existing restaurant.
So my question would be, Are you taking it over as a turnkey situation to put in your own concept? Or are you continuing the same concept that existed?
Right. And then Ryan, if you want to drop that in the chat and we'll come back to that
If
question.
you're continuing the same concept that existed, then you want to sit at the knee of the founder of the previous concept and learn everything they know. You want to learn the recipes, obviously. You want to learn the vendors. You want to learn all the secret stuff. You know, the Cisco rep that always gives you the special delivery at 6 a.m. in the morning because you've had that long relationship, you know, or whatever. You want to learn all those secrets and everything that made that business successful before you bought it. Sometimes that information doesn't transfer to the purchaser. And so you want to make sure that you get all of that information before they leave, because once they move to Tahiti, they're not going to answer your phone calls anymore.
Right.
They got their money and they're gone. So you want to make sure that you spend time in the business if you have time, and to learn it, and to make sure that the numbers that are presented to you or that were presented to you are actually factual. And then if they have community connections, you want to make sure that you maintain those as well, because that might be where a lot of your customer base comes from. You know what I mean? If it's a turnkey situation and you're just taking over a space that already has a kitchen built out, well, you just go in and just fashion things to the way you want and start operating your particular concept. And that's typically what we do as restaurant owners. We typically we only go into turnkey situations because it saves us a ton of money with the build out and everything like that.
I will piggyback off of Greg about learning everything about the business. I've had situations to where chefs had left and they don't know where certain products came from, or they don't know how much things are or how much inventory needs to be in place before someone leaves, or anything really. It's very difficult, especially when you don't have all the information and just trying to scramble of, okay, where do I get this from? Where do I get this from? Who do I contact for dishes or anything? It's just really important to understand where you get your things done, your pars, everything in a restaurant when that other person leaves.
And one important fact that a lot of restaurant owners sometimes don't understand or should know is that guy that's washing your dishes today might be your best chef tomorrow. That guy who's back there busting the dishes and all that kind of stuff, and maybe he's a young guy or whatever, that guy's your future. And so you want to, make sure you train him, because one day the chef is going to have a temper tantrum and he's going to leave, and he's going to think that he has you over a barrel. Restaurant owners go through this all the time.
Yep.
Especially those that are not chefs and don't work in, the chef kind of has them over a barrel. And that's when you go and tap that dishwasher on the shoulder and say, do you know how to make yeah, I know how to make it. You know how to make yeah, I know how to make it. And you let your chef leave and you put the dishwasher in, and it's a win-win, because now you have an employee who's happy because he's moving up and the business is able to keep going. So, it works. It works.
Another question, this one's specifically for Greg from Colette. Can you do both concepts at the same time on your food truck, Doolin's and Hotville?
When we limit the menu, we can. So the food truck was initially purchased because we're going to do a renovation at the restaurant on Crenshaw, and the restaurant is going to be closed for 4 to 6 months. So I didn't want to lose my customer base. So we plan to park the food truck outside during that process. But as Hotville came on board, we already planned to do the Doolin's food truck. As Hotville came on board, we decided to do a blended truck, a dual branded truck, if you will. And initially the thought was to either do one concept or the other. but we changed the kitchen around on the truck, and we've designed it in such a way that we can do a limited version of the Doolin's soul food menu, and primarily the chicken sandwich, which we call the Shaw for Hotville on the truck. So we can do the chicken sandwich from Hotville, and the greens and whatever from Doolin's. The key to a food truck is speed, speed, speed. And so our speed will slow down a bit when we're doing both, but we can do both. We can do both.
Okay, good. From Rashida, this is where did you find the hires for the tech work? I think we touched on this a little bit. Jeanette mentioned, you can reach into your family, but specifically for Greg and Jeanette, where did you find the techs that you're using, that you're outsourcing?
My guy came, my guy's name is Jerome, and he actually came to me. He was working on another product, helping me with my website. And once he finished with the website, he was referred to me from another person. Once he finished with the website, he says, by the way, I noticed you don't have a lot of followers on your Instagram and Twitter. I was like, we don't have any. He said, well, for this price, I could do it for you. And I was amazed that it was such a low price. And I was like, fine. He said, well, I do it all the time anyway. And that's how it came about. It was just a referral. He started off helping me with my website, and now he's my go-to guy on my Instagram and Twitter page.
Thanks. Greg, how about you?
I
And
sort
then
of-
Kelsey, you can also add on there if Cisco offers anything like that.
I sort of bumped into my guy by accident, really. I was catering an event, and he was actually the DJ. And the client who hired me introduced me to him, and we spoke, and come to find out that the DJ was just a side gig. What he does was social media marketing, food truck management, food truck promotion, website development. I mean, I hit the jackpot with this one gentleman, young man, and so we hit it off, and so now we are working on a strategic plan for helping to roll out the Doolinville truck and to build our customer base and to build the brand, and from pictures, food pictures, to website, to he brings all that to the table, and so it was really a good find for me.
And Kelsey, does Cisco offer anything like that?
Yeah, we actually partner up with a company called Pop Menu. What they do is they design websites at a discounted rate through Cisco, and they even take pictures of your food. They monitor your reviews as well if someone decides to review. They also make sure that everything is able to be seen from a telephone as well as a screen on the computer. It's one of the challenging parts, especially dealing with a generation who are very tech savvy, is that when you open a menu on your phone, it's different than opening up on a browser, and it's very hard to read, or there's so much going on where you kind of have to like squint at the phone or the menu opposed to somewhere online. They also make sure that your websites are ADA compliant, which is certain colors that are supposed to be on the screen. Make sure that everything is visible and accessible to everyone, because that is one big thing that a lot of people started to notice, is that a lot of websites aren't ADA compliant, which actually needs to be moving forward. If not, there can be pretty pricey fixing it.
Absolutely. I've actually had some clients, unfortunately, be sued by that. Mhm.
Yeah, you see.
Question again for Greg from Kevin. Greg's going into different concepts within one kitchen versus focusing on a niche or specializing in one concept. Both ideas are great, but which one is more recommended?
Well, we're going to always focus on what we've done, and that's the one of the reasons why we're on the panel is the generational aspect of our businesses, and so we will always focus on the soul food aspect of our business, and that's important. And let me just throw in a strategy of mine, and that is that when we think about our restaurants and our customer base, we have to think beyond our neighborhoods, beyond our city. And I take a national approach to building my customer base. There's a concept that I just learned the other day. I didn't realize this is what I was trying to do, but there's a concept called food tourism. And when it relates to food, when you look at food tourism, I know one of the things I do when I go to another city is I try to find the best soul food in that city. And so that's what happens here in Los Angeles. And so we're focusing on that aspect of the business. But things are so costly that you have to diversify as well. And that's why we're looking to explore other concepts. And that's why we have collaborated and partnered with Hotville Chicken and other things that we're going to be doing in relation to collaborations in the future.
Perfect.
Okay.
And then we got a question about cashless. How do you feel about cashless transactions?
I don't like it.
Because of the credit card fees?
I drove all the way out to Marina Del Rey to get some food. I didn't have my credit cards. I had cash. They wouldn't take my cash. I had to drive all the way back. I don't know. I can't do it in my market.
How about you, Jeanette? Same thing?
I agree with Greg. It's we offer both ways, and I could see more and more people each holiday season, because that's a big season for us, coming in and using more and more of their credit cards. But at the same time, cash is the way to go here, and it's just going to take a while for people to revert over. And yes, the credit card fees is a lot. And so something needs to be done about that, but we accept both. But I agree with Greg, for my demographics, it's cash all the way.
Yeah, but I will add, I was speaking as a consumer. As a restaurant owner, I understand it. It's so much easier. It's safer. You don't have to worry about pilferage and theft, or so I understand it as a business owner, and it would be, as a business owner, yes, it's very convenient, it's very appealing. I just don't like it as a consumer. So that's something that should be, weighed into the decision, I think.
Mm-hmm. So one thing, I know that we're limited on time, so I'm only going to be able to pull one more question from the chat because we have prizes. Our panelists have donated some prizes, but we are going to do it based on some of the information that they've given us and they've shared. So I want to leave time for that. We have other things in the program. So I will do one more question, and then we're going to jump into those trivia questions. Just because this is a financial, it says for Jeanette, could you share more in depth how to get bank ready? What kind of POS, accounting software, tax filing, reporting requirement? Thank you.
For us, I have a POS system that I've got from First Data, and that has worked tremendously for me. And it's about getting the proper apps you need on that POS system to help your business. And for us, we use about 3 or 4 different apps that actually help me with my paperwork. And the other thing for me was making sure they help me with my paperwork, with my corporate minutes and my board meetings, just making sure you have all of those things ready. You need that. And definitely having a bookkeeper and an accountant. Those are the things that I need. I needed to be bank ready. Working with my accountant, making sure that I'm up to date with my bookkeeper, my POS system, and then with my corporate paperwork. Those are the things I need. And I had to, fortunately, unfortunately, I use 4 different people just to make sure that I kind of keep everybody on their toes, just using 4 different people and just collaborating. It's a lot of information. And it's a lot of time, but at the same time, I don't want people to cut corners. So I make sure I have 4 different people all coming together, with the lead person being my CPA.
Okay. Okay. And I like that from Siobhan, a bank ready checklist. That would be great. You've given us an idea for another class. So let's jump into some trivia.
And
Hopefully,
hold on, Asia,
Mhm.
Greg had a
Oh, I'm
comment
sorry. Go
about
ahead,
as
Greg.
well. Go ahead.
Oh, well, just real quick, bank ready. It all starts with the information that you gather for your business. A good POS system, if you don't have one, would be a good place to start. We use Clover. It's inexpensive. They have a lot of add-on apps, and it's a great way to get started. And and then it's just keeping your records as you go. It's highly recommended that you have a professional such as a bookkeeper and or CPA to work with you, and that person maintains your records and things like that on an ongoing, up-to-date daily process. And then there's a whole checklist of things that you need that I think if they put together, Asia, if you guys put together a class on that, I'd be glad to contribute because I just got a bank loan, and or we can bring in some bankers, probably would be better
Mm-hmm.
to kind of discuss those details. But it's a big task, but you got to start with collecting the data. That's where you
Absolutely. Okay, so how this will work with the panelists trivia, I'm going to ask a question. Each one has a prize that they're giving. You will use the chat function to answer. Whoever types in the correct answer first is the winner. We're going to start off with Greg. We'll announce the 3 prizes, and then that way you can decide if you want to answer for which person. So Greg is going to be donating 2 of his large dinners, and if you've ever eaten at Doolin's Soul Food, you know that his dinners will last you about 2 to 3 days per person. So this is a huge deal. Jeanette is going to be donating 2 $30 gift cards for her bakery. She can come down and pick up some sweets. And then Miss Kelsey has some fantastic Cisco swag and a $50 Visa gift card. So we've got our first question, which will be for Jeanette's prizes. What year did 27th Street Bakery officially start? Let's see. Ding, ding, ding. Laura Ann. 1956. So Laura Ann, you've got one of the first $30 gift cards. All right. Thank you. And then the second question, let's see if you were really listening. What was the original name of the bakery when it was a restaurant?
That's a hard one.
That is a tough one. We'll see if anybody remembers.
No Google searching.
I forgot to. Well, type it in, Celeste. Type it in.
I don't want
It wasn't.
to
Lee, thank you for that shout out, but it was not 19 word Olympic gold medal. Very good, Celeste. We're going to give you that other $30 gift card. Yes, thank you. Okay. It was,
No, I don't want it.
okay, Miss Harris.
Give it to
Sweet pink, sweet pies.
Oh, Greg,
Greg,
that's
come on.
fighting words.
No.
Okay, all right. So now for Greg's prize, the 2 large dinners. Let's see. His question is, what was the name of Greg's critically acclaimed soul food restaurant in the Marina?
Oh,
Did he say that?
I said it.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Lisa, great
Somebody
job.
was
So,
listening.
come on. Lisa has the fastest typing fingers. Okay, and then for Kelsey's prize, let's see. Name at least 3 additional features that Cisco's Restaurant Rising program offers small businesses. And that slide was up there for a long time. Maybe somebody took a screenshot. Don't give them the answer. You doing a teaser there? Is that what that was? Supplies. All right, Stephen Turner. Excellent. You got 3. So we've got our 4 winners. Thank you so much for participating in that. And we're going to move forward with the rest of our presentation.
And we do, before we move on, we really just want to thank our panelists today. Thank you guys for sharing a little
Thank
bit of the
you.
secret sauce. I mean,
Mhm.
there were some surprising answers as you talked about technology, some of the back office things that you were sharing. So I just really appreciate all of you all coming on and sharing secret sauce with our guests today. And so we've got a couple of more prizes. Our scheduled time is 3:30, so we're almost there. So, but I wanted to just make a note before we move to quickly through the next section with our panelists, and so much appreciate you guys. And Jeanette, we're going to help you get more money, and Greg, you know, we got you on the money side. So see how we can continue to help you. All right, go ahead. Asia, if you would just cover the upcoming workshops.
Sure, we've got so March's schedule is already ready to go. Again, if you want to sign up for any of our free classes, go to pcrsbdc.org, click on the menu tab at the top and go to workshops. But these are the 8 classes. I want to introduce a new class, which will be at the end of the month with Jeanette. We're going to talk about legacy restaurants. She'll be coming on as a guest speaker. So if there were any questions that you wanted to ask her specifically that we weren't able to get to today, please make sure you sign up for March 25th. She'll be there again. But again, these are the scheduled classes. We have 2 classes every week. They do rotate. So if for any reason you are not able to make these classes, you can always look for the follow-up classes in March, and we'll be repeating them for you. All right, go ahead.
All right. So one of the things that we did want to ask here, and we're going to launch a poll quickly, is what topics would you like for the Restaurant Academy to host for you all? So food truck basics, restaurant marketing, food marketing, developing your outdoor space, or developing your menu. So pick the top one for you. And we want to make sure that we can make that as an offering. Our restaurant advisors are amazing. We have about 8 to 10 classes, 4 going on at any time. So I hope that you guys are apprising yourselves of the great knowledge, and then also of the one-on-ones as well. Okay. Does everybody have their numbers in? Okay. All right. So, wow, close tie, restaurant marketing and food truck basics. And all right, so we'll look at both of those. So thank you guys so much for sharing that. And Greg, thanks for just sharing even the philosophy of what, the food truck should even look like, and kind of things to consider. So appreciate you sharing that as well. So thank you guys for sharing your data there. Want to make you aware of our next quarterly event is June 21st. We'll probably do it at the same time. Monday afternoon seem to work well with our restaurateurs. So it'll be June 21st. So please put that on your calendar. And now we do have some additional prizes that we have. I believe we have 3 $25 gift cards, Asia, to where?
Smart and Final.
Smart and Final. Thank you very much. All right, so I'm going to pull over. And for those that came in before before I want to say 2:45. So if you came in by 2:45, you are eligible for to win something. So let's see if I can get this going here. And I see a whole bunch names here: Bianca, Candace, Siobhan. Let's see if anybody will get one of these.
Paulette, do you want to share your
okay.
screen?
All right. Oh, Amira, thank you so much. Amira, if you will put your name and your email, your business name into the chat, and we will get that over to you digitally, okay? But you
And
can't win
Paulette,
twice.
if you can share your screen.
Oh, thank you.
Can
Right, we only
Oh, you can see it?
we only heard the audio.
Yeah.
It sounded
What?
good though.
Okay, so wait a second. Oh man, so this one was Cynthia Daniel. Okay, I'm so sorry you guys couldn't see that. So I'm going to share screen again so that you can see. And I believe we have one more prize here. So give me 1 second. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, so Cynthia Daniel,
All right.
Just one answer. Congratulations, Cynthia. $25 gift card. And so we're going to do one more. I'm going to spin the wheel. And
Denise.
okay. Denise Campos actually was a winner. Denise, I can't see you on the screen, but please put your information in. And thank you all so much for playing. So we have just one more thing to share. And I so appreciate you all joining us today with all of this great information. So last thing is just our upcoming SBDC resource webinars, new client orientation. If you're a new client of ours, please join us and learn how you can better utilize us as a resource. Business plan essentials, disciplined entrepreneurship, great way for some of the startups here. Disaster loan training. Do you need help with your EIDL, your PPP, some of the grants? Please check in there. If you are about to get a space of any type of brick and mortar space, please see us for the commercial leasing checklist. We're doing that just once a month, but our legal advisor, Harold Hart-Niebrick, is covering this, and it should help you as you go forward to do any additional brick and mortar. And then PPP forgiveness. And why? Because you want to erase the debt. If you have a PPP, do not be afraid. Go forth, erase the debt, and that money will come to you as a grant. And then these additional Restaurant Academy courses, and you can find all of these at pcrsbdc.org. Then finally, just connect with us here. We're on Twitter, on Instagram, Facebook, and then also we have a website there, and then at the info at PCR SBDC site. So I think that is it. That covers most of our questions. We are at 3:29. Again, I really want to thank our panelists for coming on today. Greg, Jeanette, and Kelsey, we so appreciate you guys for taking the time to work with us and to share knowledge. Thank you to our restaurant advisors, Asia and Celeste. They are awesome and they are here to help you. In addition to our other advisors that are on the call, financial, marketing, legal, whatever you need, and they know how to direct you to the appropriate advisor at the right time. And so we thank you for those advisors. And then for our administrative team, China Spikes, Briagini, who is hidden on the call now. Briagini has helped to put all of this together for us, Briagini Sanders, and then Leah Evans, and then also RJ Barnes is on our administrative team. And then of course, Mark Robertson, who is the president of PCR. So again, thank you all. Let's go into the future, everybody, and let's fly like eagles. All right, have a wonderful day, everybody, and thanks so much. Take care.
Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye. Thanks again.
Take care.
I need to get a chat real quick, Jeanette. Colette.
You need a chat.
Someone said something to me in the chat that they wanted me to contact Trevor, but it started scrolling so fast I couldn't see. Okay, got it. All righty, thank you.
And thank you guys for your notes. Appreciate it as well. Really appreciate it.
Well,
yeah, I was trying to get our music playing. I'm too slow. I couldn't make it happen. I don't know what happened to it, but it didn't work. So we'll work on that for next time. So thank you guys.
bye-bye.
Bye-bye.